Thank you very much. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about why I chose to do a graduate degree in economics. Is this coming across all right? Sounds strange. Yep, fine. Why I decided to do a Ph.D. in economics, and also why I chose NES. So one thing, if you come to NES, it's actually an excellent stepping stone to go do a Ph.D. in the US or in Europe in economics or finance. I actually used to work at the Democratic National Committee long before it was hacked. And I also worked at the President's Council of Economic Advisors for the US government. And so one thing that I saw there is that analytical skills and data skills are very much in demand in both the private and the public sector. So today, the world is awash in big data, and so being able to analyze large data sets is a very important skill, and it's a skill that you're going to learn if you come to NES, right? So we do a very good job teaching econometrics and other kind of data and analytical skills. And so these will be in demand. A lot of PhD students, they don't just go on to become college professors. Others go on to work for, say, the IMF, the World Bank. They work in the public sector. They also go, and they're very much in demand in consulting or in finance, where they go on to do very well financially also. Why might you want to go and become a college professor? There's a joke that, do you guys know the 3 best reasons to become a college professor? Does anyone want to guess? The answer is June, July, and August. Because professors don't work in the summer. But in fact, it's a joke. Our main job is often to do research, and so we do research year-round. I also work on the weekends, and so it's actually not the case that this is a very cushy job necessarily. But we do have a lot of freedom to study things that really interest and captivate us, whereas if you work in the private sector, it might not be the case. You'll have a boss, presumably long hours. But I can't say actually that one career is better than another. The message from economics actually is that there's probably not, that you can actually go and you can be happy in any of these fields if you go and be successful. If one field was obviously better than another, then everyone would go into that career, and then it would become more competitive and the wages might come down. And so economics would tell you, don't worry about it too much. If you go and you come and you work hard and you be successful in any kind of career path, you can go and you can be happy. Okay, so why did I choose economics? I chose economics because I was very interested in public policy. I don't think I need this.
No, we need for recording.
Okay. So why did I get interested in economics? It's because I was interested in public policy, and I think most of the big public policy questions are actually questions about economic policy. So for example, does anyone know what's going on in Greece right now? Right, the economy is doing very badly. The Greek economy has shrank 25% in the last 10 years. In Spain, the youth unemployment rate is about above 40%, which is not good. Even in the US, which has done fairly well, the level of GDP is about 25% less than the long-run trend. And so, why does this matter for Russia? If the world economy is growing slowly, then oil prices are going to be lower than they would be otherwise, and so then it becomes a bad thing for Russia and actually the world economy too. And so, why is the world economy growing slowly, and what can be done about it? These are questions that, if you come to NES, these are exactly the questions you're going to be studying. And so, for example, in the second year, we have students get involved directly in research by writing a master's thesis with a professor of your choice. And so one of my students right now, he's interested in finance and in macroeconomics, and so he's writing a thesis about the impact of monetary policy on financial markets. And so one of the ideas is that some people think that the reason the world economy is growing slowly right now is because monetary policy now is less effective than it used to be. And so does anyone want to guess, why is monetary policy now, why do you think it might be less effective than it used to be? Does anyone? Any ideas? Anyone? Yeah, we got someone in the back.
Because interest rates in the U.S. can't go any lower.
Yes, exactly. So the problem is one of the zero lower bounds. So typically, when a central bank wants to stimulate the economy, they lower interest rates to encourage people to invest. But right now, interest rates in Japan, the US, and Europe are already close to zero, and so central banks don't have the same ability to just lower interest rates like they used to. So what my student did is he's looking at the impact of monetary policy announcements in the period when there was higher interest rates versus the period when there's interest rates close to zero. And actually what he's found so far is that yes, the impact on financial markets is a bit less, but it's only slightly less than it used to be, and so that monetary policy today is still quite effective. And so it's probably not the case that the reason the world economy is doing bad now is just because monetary policy has become less effective. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about why I chose NES. And so part of the reason was, of course, Moscow is a great city and Russia is also a great place. But what drove me to come to Moscow and enjoy these nice winters is, from California no less, the reason was actually the atmosphere here at NES. And so from my first interview, I realized immediately that the professors here are very brilliant. As you've heard already, many of the professors come, they have Ph.D s from the top universities in the world. They also publish in the top journals. And the students are also incredibly bright. And so every day I learn new things from my students as well. And so there's one puzzle in economics, which is might seem strange, but actually, why are there big cities where wages are higher, right? And so why are there things like Silicon Valley, where much of the tech sector is concentrated? Why doesn't the tech sector spread out? Because rent and wages in Silicon Valley is extremely high. And so one of the solutions to this puzzle, there might be more than one, but one of the solutions is that there actually seems to be a benefit from having a lot of people with high human capital in the same place. And so actually, if you're surrounded with people who also have very high human capital, there seems to be some positive externality that makes you more productive. Another interesting insight from economics is that this idea about signaling. Does anyone know what signaling is? Yeah, okay. Yeah, and so the basic, I'll just explain it. I think most of you know, but the basic idea is that imagine you're trying to hire somebody and you don't know how productive they're going to be. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to have to look at some blunt signals. You know, what is that person, what is their GPA? Where have they worked in the past? What school did they graduate from? And so these are the ways that you can make it easier on yourself to try to figure out somebody's value or future productivity. And so this is why branding and what school you go to and also how well you do when you're there will be so important for your future career. Let's see, there was one other insight that I just wanted to kind of learned along the way when I worked in government is that, so if you talk to political scientists, they'll tell you that most of economic policy and policy in general is about politics and special interest groups influencing the government. But the other thing I found out is that a lot of policy is just determined by what do people in government believe about economics, so the stories that they tell. And so this is why you can actually influence the world quite a lot with your ideas. And so it's our hope that you'll learn a lot at NES, and then you'll go on to help kind of influence the world and public policy, and influence the world in whatever sphere you go into, whether it be consulting or finance, that you can kind of use what you've learned to go and kind of make a big impact in the world. And so that's all I have to say. If anyone has any questions, please feel free. Yep. Thank you.